Hey, everybody. It's nice to see you all again. It feels like it's been forever. My knee down here is doing very well. I'm healing up. Thank you so much for all your prayers. If you can imagine the family in Uganda who we are giving a hand, they actually spent time in prayer and fasting while I was in the hospital. I was so moved by that, I just cannot put it to words other than to say thank you. So to Kakir and his family, thank you, my friends. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to hear that you are so loved that someone is willing to spend a day in fasting and prayer for my health. I was so moved by that. The truth of the matter is that a year ago, last October, I had my left knee done. It took me 3 days to get out of bed, and it was a tremendously painful thing. I have never hurt like that before. When I would slide my knee over the edge of the bed, that side twist, when your leg is hanging out, and and there's that pressure of the knee bending sideways. Oh my stars. I screamed. It hurt so bad. I've never hurt like that. And then it would swell up, and we were constantly putting ice on it. And the physiotherapists were so frustrated because I was such a terrible patient, and I was constantly whining and complaining. And finally, after 6 days, they signed an order to send me home. And when I got home, I did everything I thought I could do to help myself, and I did. I did walking up and down the aisles. I did a track downstairs that we put together. I did a fair bit, and because we had been working together, myself and the physiotherapist, I was able to progress. But that was a year ago. It took 6 days before I could get out of the hospital. And when I got home, I was in pain and struggled for at least 2 weeks. Now, let's switch over to what happened 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, I went into the hospital for surgery, and I found out that morning that people were praying for me all over the world, and that this one family was not only praying for me, but they were fasting for me. And I had the surgery on a Tuesday morning. I was back in my room, and I woke up sort of, I hadn't been knocked out, but I was tired and sleepy, you dopey. And I woke up about, 2:33 in the afternoon, and I had to go to the bathroom. Old man, right? Old man. We all have this, you all know what that's about. And without thinking, I threw back the blankets and I got out of bed. And I was standing there, and I started thinking to myself, how did I just do this? I can't be doing this. And I waited for the pain. I stood there and I thought, oh, when's it going to hit? And I was just standing there so gingerly because it's going to hit. It's going to hit. It's going to hit. I just knew it was going to hit. And I could see my painkiller pills on the table. And so I right away just sort of reached over and grabbed two of them and threw them in my mouth quick and swallowed some water, ready for the onslaught. Of course, that's a dumb notion because it takes a half an hour for those things to kick in. But nonetheless, I did. And I waited. And I waited. And no pain. None. And so I picked up my stuff and I went to the washroom. I came out. No pain. Not any pain at all. And so I got into bed, and my roommate had his hip just changed. Young man, too. Kind of odd. Young man changing his hip. But anyways, he had a new hip, and he was going to do the stairs. He'd been in for 6 days. He was going in to do the stairs so that he could have that checked off his list, and then he could go home. So I'm sitting there thinking, he's got nobody to cheer him on. I'm going to go cheer him on. And again, I got out of bed. And again, I waited. No pain. So instead of using the walker, which they absolutely demanded I use, and you know me and rules, I went and got my crutches from the closet. And man, I could dance. I was walking around and feeling terrific, and I followed him down the ward, and there he was in this room walking over these stairs. And what basically it is it's 3 steps. You go up 3 steps in a little tiny landing, and you go down 3 steps. There's a rail on the right side. And he did his thing. Now, this is Tuesday afternoon of my surgery, in the afternoon. And I thought to myself, well, I can do those steps. Why not? I have no pain. And so I went over. I used my left crutch, my right hand on the rail, my left crutch to sort of help me lift. And I went up and down the stairs. And then I went up and down them backwards. And he looked at me and he just started shaking his head because he had just gone through 8 years of, you can guess, heck. He went through living heck for all those days, and he was just finally getting out. And now I looked at those stairs and I thought, I can do this. And so I did. I went up and down on my first day of surgery. And when I got to the top of the landing, I looked up and there was a crucifix on the wall. And I thought to myself, I am not doing these stairs on my own power. This isn't me. I should be crying out in pain, and I'm not. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that my doctor, Ian Lutz, is just crazy good at what he does and probably did an absolutely perfect job. No doubt he did a perfect job. But there was power coming from somewhere else. There was this little lady, her husband, and 3 little girls in Uganda who were going hungry as they prayed for me. And the Lord blessed me on their account. So incredible is that family. And I did the stairs. I started coming back towards my room, and it was about halfway down the ward when the nurses saw me. And I'll tell you, I got chewed out all the way from halfway down the ward, all the way back to my room. If they would have had a switch, they would have hit me every step all the way back. I slap, told, tap, you slap, not slap, to get out of bed, slap, slap, slap. And I went and got back into bed. And the head nurse came in and he said, "How did you just do this?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "This is your first day of surgery." He said, "You shouldn't be able to even hardly sit up on the side of your bed yet." I said, I can't explain it. I do not understand what's happening here. I don't understand it. And he said, well, I can tell you one thing. You don't have to worry about any of these things. And he went over to the wall, and they had those lists. There's 5 things you have to do in order to get out. And he took his Jiffy marker, and he just went one big line and went through all 5 of them at once. Just chunk, goes to the bathroom on his own, walks down the hallway on his own, does the stairs. That was the big one at the end. Does the stairs on his own, da-da-da-da. And da-da-da-da, one big line down the thing. And he said, if physio says to go home tomorrow, you can go home. So 8 a.m. came, physio came in. This is the second time now because they were there when I woke up. And I did okay, but it was nothing special. But now I was showing these amazing signs. And even though they said it wasn't the fastest they'd ever seen. They said it was most certainly the most noble that they had ever seen. They had never seen someone, even they said, this is like a miracle. You shouldn't be able to do what's going on here, especially being as fat as I am and an old man like I am. And the biggest thing of all is that I'm the biggest baby you've ever known in your life. I'm not good with pain, and I cry and whine and complain and ask Valerie, my wife, sometimes she'd tell you all about it. But there was this family. I keep coming back. There was this family in Uganda, and they were fasting and they were praying for me. And there were people praying for me all over the world. And my God honored your prayers. He honored your prayers. And he reached down and he touched me and he blessed me. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to have trouble in the future, that something might not happen. It might. I might be in pain somewhere along the way. But I am 1 month in, and I have now phoned and texted my doctors about 10 times. And you're welcome to ask Ian Lutz this if you don't believe me. About 10 times. And the text always goes like this. Ian, I can't believe it. I'm standing in the backyard, in the garden, and I have no pain. I haven't had a day of no pain. I can't remember, 20 years? 25 years? I have no pain. I have no pain. None. And when they say, what's your pain level right now? Because I'm taking Oxy for what used to be pain in my knees. What's your pain level right now? Well, it's 0. Well, why are you taking Oxy? Well, because I'm addicted to it. It's going to take me a while to get off of this silly stuff. But I have no pain. Thank you, Lord. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing experience. So many people have reached out in love. So many people have shared their time with me by praying for me. Anyhow, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your prayers. Mostly what I came on today to do was to tell you that tomorrow I'm going to be live preaching at 10 a.m. from Melfort, Saskatchewan. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'll be live preaching from here in Melfort. And everybody else knows their parts. All the other churches know they have lay service in Nipawin, lay service in Mustatam and Hudson Bay. But in Melfort, I will be preaching and the service will be live. And so please tune in at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I have a couple of amazing scripture stories we're going to be telling. About, the tenants and sending the tenant's son, the landowner's son, and so on and so on. Oh, what an amazing story. That's such a good story and such amazing examples you can pull from that. And so tomorrow I'm going to give it a go. We'll see what we can do with understanding this story that came from the Lord himself. And so tomorrow at 10 a.m., Melfort, please tune in. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. And when I say I love you all, I really mean it. Some of you are the dearest people I've known in my life. And so, again, I love you all. Thank you, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Good night. Have a nice night.